Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Oh, I popped there, sorry.
Oh, good day. Does that count?
Good afternoon. I'll say, oh
You
goodness,
just said
oh
good
goodness,
afternoon.
oh goodness, because I
Yes.
spoke, and I shouldn't, and I'm trying not to, but I can't help myself.
It's becoming I
an
think
addiction.
we're going to have to go back to the inquiry board about how we're abusing the rules here, both
terrible,
of us. I mean,
terrible.
that was the Loch Ness game. It's not about Loch Ness, and it's not a game.
But this
all right?
is the Benji and Nick Show, your number one vintage TV podcast in the known world.
I'm not Benji.
And I'm not Nick. And what do we got lined up today, Nick?
Well, we're continuing our never-ending commentary of Frontier in Space. No, Inferno. And we're on episode 6, which Shelley Dean, our American counterpart, who will be along later after the emails, she feels like it's episode 35.
Yeah, it does
So it's
go on a bit,
1970,
doesn't it?
John Pertwee. Yeah.
No, it's rather good though. That's the thing. You can't
I'm looking
help but
forward
think
to
it's rather good, can you? No, well,
Also,
as well as,
yes, go on, sorry.
God,
So no.
you,
After
you know you. Go on.
Oh, come on.
Also, we'll have listeners' emails where we listen to emails sent from you all out there, wonderful people. Do feel free as well. If you want to send us an email, please do. Send them to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com and they might get read out. We certainly try. Look, Nick's got his reading glasses on there,
My
ready
special
to do the
reading
honours.
glasses, as opposed to just my normal seeing glasses. It's come to that, listeners.
It's come to that level. But you can have them perched on your nose in a sort of wise way. You know, do that thing when people look down when they read like that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, but
isn't
then
it?
when I look up, I won't be able to see anything, so there's not much point in that.
Well, that's the book, but I don't know where anybody is. So. Oh, you've all left. Never mind.
I'm in the wrong room. Yes, and
I'm on the
something
moon.
Shelley will talk about when she gets here. She'll give us all the details about Inferno, if you don't know any. And she'll also talk about Patreon. We have a Patreon page, and you can follow us on that. But she'll tell you about that, and she'll also give a shout out to some of our Patreon followers, because that's one of the little perks you get. But I'll say no more about it. I won't.
Yeah,
we
save
won't
it
repeat
for
ourselves.
the
Save it,
Shelster.
Briggs.
Save it for the Shelster. Well, then let's head into the email party. Because
Shall I? I'll do
why
the
not?
first one, shall I?
Yeah, do the first
No,
one.
I'm just
Why
going
not?
to put
He's
the.
gonna
I'm
put on
going
his
to make a
reading
big
glasses
deal
now.
of.
I have reading socks, actually. I put them
Do
on.
you?
See. Yeah.
Well,
helps me
that
read,
probably
yeah.
works really well.
Yeah. It's
right.
fine.
Right, and now I've lost where the emails are. Ah, here we are.
There's an email for that, right?
Yes. So we've got what we got here. This is from Alan Page.
Hello, Alan.
And this is about Escape into Night. Do you remember that?
Yes, I certainly do. Yes, which
We
I don't
did
think
a thing about it, didn't we?
I don't think I gave it a particularly nice review,
No.
unfortunately.
Well, no, because it's the ideas are good, but the execution wasn't. He says,
words
I was
exactly.
one of those who caught it both barrels as a 7-year-old and never forgot it, although the name escaped me for years. Escape, little theme there. I should mention actually that this email was sent in the year 2318, but anyway, that's for the future. I watched it again when it came out on DVD, and it still seems simply amazing to me that they got away with something so strong as a children's program. The last episode made me think of the finale of Q and the P, Quatermass and the Pit, in regards to levels of tension.
Q and the
All that
P.
She says Q and the Pit. I misrepresented you, Alan. Sorry. All that creepy sound direction with the distorted grandfather clock, etc. Not something you got with Skippy. Skippy, the bush kangaroo. Do you remember Skippy? Have you ever seen that?
Remember Skippy?
Have you ever heard of it?
I think I can see Skippy in my mind, but I can't. Honestly,
The Skippy joke is that Skippy would always save the day. It was a live-action, quite high-budget Australian film series,
They ended up making a modern film of it as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
I
But
remember
when I
that.
say film, I mean it's a TV series, but filmed, shot on 35mm or something. It'd be Skippy, where have you been? So what's the matter? Mr. Jones has fallen down a hole. Well, where's this hole? to the east of the fence. Okay, let's go. Skippy always seemed to be able to communicate vast amounts of information by simply scratching its nose or making funny noises.
Well, I think Skippy must have gone to the same school as Lassie in that field. I remember as a kid I used to think Lassie was great, but then when you watch it now and you realise it's just a dog giving vast amounts of information to somebody to say, oh yes, right, what was that? Yes, the square root of a circle is indeed 2.9,742,000.
Oh, yes. Where were we? Yes. The modern day parts are slow. Yeah. Do you remember all the kid being ill in bed and stuff, and that really upset you, didn't it? You were really hated it. You thought, God. When I said, and there are 5 more episodes, you went, "There's not more." I thought that was just one story. You were really fed up with it.
It was rubbish.
Slow and clunky, but geez, it is way there with the good doctor in packing the creep factor in. That's what Alan says. Controversial. I do have a fondness for it. It's just nowhere near as good as I remember it being.
I do like the stone Daleks, I have to say. Those weird sort of
with
things.
Ring modulated voices.
I'll give you those, but it just didn't sit with me. But that's okay. That's okay. Maybe I'll rewatch it and watch it all through and come back a changed man. But I doubt it.
I don't think you can, so no.
No, I don't think so. Well, we got another email here. This one here is from Trevor Knight, who's actually it's my
Escaping Tonight.
Escaping to Trevor Knight. Trevor Knight's the name of my friend's. I suppose granddad. It'll be not grandfather. Great uncle.
I thought you were going to say dog.
I don't know.
Trevor Knight, come here.
Trevor Knight. I think it's great uncle, perhaps. But anyway, he's a very nice man. This was sent on the 11th of the 4th in the year of our Lord 1511. So write that there, yeah. Hi, Benji and Nick. I'm ashamed to admit that I've only just come across your Benji and Nick podcast, and
Don't be ashamed.
Absolutely love it. Well, welcome very much. Thank you very much. I'm a huge fan of vintage, classic and cult TV and films, and whilst I may have limited knowledge of any useful information, or sometimes struggle to remember what day it is, I can easily remember all sorts of fun and utterly useless vintage TV trivia. So I feel right at home. Yeah, you do absolutely feel right at home. This is all we ever go on about, isn't it? I listened to the first few podcasts and howled with laughter at your conversation about the phrase, "You fool, you old fool." I love it. Used in Doctor Who and other vintage TV, but rarely in real life. Yes, I do try and call more people fools if I can, because I quite like it,
Yeah.
So, don't be a fool, man, for pity's sake. It got me thinking of other things that people say or do in classic TV, but never in real life. I love this. This is great. Yeah. Does anyone really ever say, "Hello, what's going on here"? It's always policemen, isn't it? It's like, "Yeah, what's going on here?"
Hello, what's going on here then?
Wait a minute. That's not. Bless my soul. I wish people said that. You can't mean it. You just can't.
It's true, isn't it? And I've written a lot of these lines, yeah.
Come in. I've been expecting you.
No one says that, actually, do they?
Oh, this is a turn up for the books. I think I've used that one before.
Yeah, I think my mother-in-law says things like that. She's visiting today. She may have said it already.
Or indeed refer to anyone as howling with laughter. I've heard people say that, but we were howling with laughter, we were. Does anyone ever really walk up the stairs of a strange, creepy house without switching on the lights? Yeah, nobody does that, do they? No. Put down the phone without saying goodbye. I even say goodbye to scam callers. It's true. It's true. I always wanted to do that dramatically, when people say, yes, okay. Yeah. It's John. He's invaded Poland. It's that sort of thing. It's that wonderful. Put the phone down. But no, maybe.
I tell you, the other thing that people do in drama that no one ever does in real life is that when they talk to someone and then at the end of the call they go and they look at the phone as if they're looking at the person. Now, people don't do that in real life, do they?
I've seen people do that before.
No one looks at a phone like it's the person.
If something weird, if
the phone cuts off, they don't go. They don't look at it.
I don't know. I've seen people do that before. They go like that. They give it.
If something's gone wrong, but yeah, you don't look at the phone like.
Oh, what? Like if somebody phones up and you're like,
yeah,
Yeah, no, I don't think people...
Only on a modern
phone.
phone, you'd look to check the name or the number. But that thing, like on an old-fashioned phone, of people going, yeah, I think so. Yeah. What? And sort of looking at the phone like, what's the matter with them?
What's going on?
Or they end a conversation unsatisfactorily and they show their disapproval by looking at the phone askance. I don't think that happens.
Yeah, it probably doesn't. These are all teleisms, tisms.
Yes.
Come home and immediately pour a glass of whiskey.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Just walk through the door and immediately pour. And it's usually, that big, isn't it? About 2-3 fingers.
And they always do that thing, they'll like pour the whiskey and then they'll go... They always do that noise, like they'll drink it, slam it, and they go, Interesting enough, I remember I used to say the thing about like in the 70s and all that, whenever anybody went into an office, they'd always say, oh, would you, they open the drawer, bottle of whiskey, get it out, unscrew the cap and give them the drink. And I remember being in somebody's office once, and whilst it wasn't offered to me, I saw in their drawer that they had a bottle of whiskey.
Wow.
Which I was like, obviously it's probably quite concerning really, but at the same time I thought it rather cool. I was like, great, I'm in like a 70s office, maybe there's like a decanter over there or something. So I don't know, but
it's always like in the moment in a police drama when someone has earned the respect of their superior. He goes, sit down, and then reaches in the drawer and pulls out the bottle. Forget the sir, have one of these.
You're talking to me, we're out of hours. You're talking to John now.
I don't drink, sir. Get out!
It's that one. I don't drink, sir. Well, you're damn well going to start now. It's like that sort of thing, isn't it? It's that always. I don't drink, sir. Well, there's a first time for everything.
Yes,
it's the same with
cut to him in the loo.
Yeah, he just completely smashed. Oh no, we've gone too far.
But mind you see, if you drank 3 fingers of whiskey straight down, unless you're a seriously hardened drinker with a real alcohol problem, you're going to be smashed within about 2 minutes.
It's going to go to your head, certainly.
Totally. When they do this and they go, and then they say, "Let's go over those figures again."
Yes,
you imagine they go, "Let's go over those figures." Where does the 5 go?
I think they're all wrong, but it doesn't matter. There's the same thing they do in this, in those old programs as well, where they offer cigarettes to people. Like everybody I know that smokes never offers nobody says cigarette. They're just, actually no. One of my
did in the old days, mate. We did. I was going to
say one of my friends does actually. Says, "Do you want a cigarette?" But most of the time, I guess okay, that's an old days thing then.
Yeah, smoking now is a real, dirty habit that people just sort of quietly do on their own. But no, you do. Offering someone a cigarette is a real. It's social. I can't think of it. Eases things socially. In the old days, it did. I got to know my wife through smoking with her in a pub, and I was talking to someone else, and I really fancied her. So I offered her cigarettes, and I eventually started doing it without looking at her. And I just offer, as I was talking to someone else, I'd offer my packet to her, and she'd just take one out. And then eventually I put 2 in my mouth and lit them and just handed one to her, and she just took it. And so when the 2 people we were talking to eventually went away, we kind of turned around and it was like, hi.
That's so cool, man.
I've been supplying you with cigarettes all evening, and now we're going to have a chat,
You should write that in something. That's cool. You probably can't write about smoking in the same way anymore, but
certainly not on a Doctor Who script.
Doctor Who. John Pertwee gets a big cigarette out and hands it to a Zygon. Another thing here is get out of their car but never lock it. Yeah, that always happens in things. But I think
that's an old days thing. I mean, when you watch the Ipcress File, Michael Caine gets out of his car in Whitehall and doesn't lock it and leaves the window open.
Steal my car. It's got a thing in the window that says that. Steal my car.
But it may be one of those things. You remember I've mentioned before, I think it was in one of the after parties, when you see old footage of London from the 30s right up into the 60s, people just used to walk in the road the whole time. And it wasn't until the government started talking about road safety.
And more cars as well.
Yeah, that too. But there were swathes of people, and cars were kind of milling round them, and people sort of like, there was no sense that cars were something that might kill you. At least front of mind for people. And I think likewise, the whole business about locking cars. I remember as a kid when it became a thing to lock your car, because it was like a new thing, always lock your car sort of thing, and people would just leave them open all the time. It would be an extraordinary thing to lock your car. Like if you were leaving it overnight in an area you didn't know, then you might lock your car. But if you
other than that, you wouldn't bother.
Yeah, if you parked it outside your house, you wouldn't lock it because you'd be going back in an hour. So you just leave it, and you would assume, you'd assume that your neighbours wouldn't nick your car, or that there wouldn't be. And of course, eventually criminals got wind of this. People are leaving their cars open. Let's just
nick that motor.
Let's nick them. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Maybe one way to deal with that is another thing on the list here, the final thing, which is always have the window down when sitting in a parked car. So maybe that's the answer. If criminal comes in, you think, oh no, they're sitting in there, the window down, we just can't see them.
That's so that the camera can see through the window, So yeah, that's absolutely right. That's nonsense, isn't it?
That's just. I like to have the window down as much as I can, but then at the same time, if you've got the window down and you're sitting in a parked car, other people can potentially hear what you're talking about. Not that I'm not talking about shady things, but you don't want somebody.
Well, you always are.
I am always talking about shady things: lampshades, shades of paint,
glasses, dark glasses.
Yeah, cool shades. Yeah, shades. The coffee place in Eastbourne, Arndale Centre. You name it, I've talked about it. It says here, carrying on the email, it says here, I then decided to catch up with your more recent podcast and enjoyed your conversation about Kolchak the Night Stalker. Neither of you were particularly impressed, but I think you may have felt differently if you'd watched the two preceding TV movies, The Night Stalker, about a vampire and a story adapted by Richard Matheson, and The Night Strangler, starring Richard Anderson, boss of Steve Austin and Jamie Summers, the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. God, imagine being the boss of those two.
Wasn't he called Oscar, the guy who was the name of the character? Yeah,
can't remember off the top of my head, but that's a hard. Imagine trying to contain those people. It'd be a nightmare. As a 100-year-old man who lived in Seattle Underground City and surviving by using the blood of his strangled victims. Oh, I see. Yes, it's not Trevor saying he's a 100-year-old man here. As a 100-year-old man, both TV movies were high-quality productions and not only properly introduced both Kolchak and his editor, but also led them having to move on to another city because the authorities refused to believe Kolchak's stories and wanted them out of town. This set up the premise for the series and the dynamic between the characters. I've only watched a couple of episodes of the series, and although it's good, I think it suffers from the problem that many similar series have, which is that the premise is difficult to sustain. Reporter investigates murder with supernatural links, saves the day, writes up the story, but has no proof and isn't believed, so just works on the next adventure.
Exactly, yeah. That is the problem, isn't it?
Doesn't help that the character himself is really irritating. The quirkiness of Kolchak's dress sense with a straw hat and white suit, like a cross between someone from Casablanca and Martin Bell, is reminiscent of US TV detectives of that era. Columbo and his raincoat, McCloud and his Stetson, Starsky and his oversized cardigan. I have some suggestions for future podcasts, and apologies if I've missed some that you've covered on any of these, but I have a few to catch up on. The Thriller TV series, this must have been one of the first UK feature-length dramas, very popular. Merlin, that was me doing an impression of in the theme tune of Merlin. He says it like that. Merlin.
Is this the... Oh, okay. This is the modern one, isn't it?
It's the modern one with John Hurt as Merlin's Dragon. Merlin's Dragon. Oh, yes, he talks Simon Chains. One of the best family adventure series post the return of Doctor Who. It was very good. I've got some opinions on that. Could be a fun one to cover. Great theme tune, though. Although I never liked the idea that the castle in Merlin looked far too French for me. Like I imagined sort of really like Arthurian, like Bodiam Castle sort of looking castles, Yeah. But this was very French chateau. I don't know, just an artistic choice, isn't it? Into Infinity / The Day After Tomorrow, the one-off Jerry Anderson story. Yes,
have you ever seen that?
I have seen bits of it. I've never watched the whole thing. We should get Jamie in for that one. That'll be fun.
We should, yeah.
The Prisoner, we've done that. We have done The Prisoner. Great fun, that one. everybody who watches The Prisoner seems to carry on watching The Prisoner. That's what I've noticed. The $6 Million Man or The Bionic Woman, definitely one to go on the list.
Yeah.
Miss Marple, the Joan Hickson version, of course. Miss Marple, my parents absolutely love Miss Marple. They cannot get enough of it. They've just always loved it.
It's the Agatha Christie thing. Agatha Christie is immensely popular.
Oh, and rightfully so. I think the Joan Hickson as Miss Marple as well, you know, they just love her as a character. Interesting enough, I was watching a bit of Clockwise, which is just on BritBox, and Joan Hickson is in there playing a batty old woman.
Yeah, Clockwise is the comedy film with John Cleese, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Quite good. Didn't do very well, but I thought it was funny.
So frustrating.
I like things like that. It is very frustrating when you just think, but that's the beauty of John Cleese. He's incredibly good in that environment. Top TV vehicles, that would be good fun. Here's a really interesting thing. I bought a sound library recently, and in one of the libraries, it has the original Batmobile sounds. But the best thing about them is that they're not even like hiding the fact that they're original Batmobile sounds. They're just, this is like a premium paid library, and it just says Batmobile goes past, Batmobile turbo thrusters.
Fantastic.
I was like, great. And it has the Bat phone as well, which is just labelled Bat phone brackets or an alarm clock. but I love that all these years later, like they're just in a library, like they just exist, and I've got a license to use them. We can play them whenever we like. Nick, play the thing now for those listening. There you go. That was a Batman sound effect. What else have we got here? One-off TV characters that deserve the series. Ronald Wheatcroft from Goodnight Sweetheart. Sherlock. That would be a good one. Ellery Queen TV series starring Jim Hutton, though I'm not sure if this is available on DVD. Well, we'll look into that one. Where Eagles Dare, broadsword to Danny Boy.
Broadsword calling Danny Boy.
That could be good fun, couldn't it?
That's a great film.
Colditz. We've done Colditz really early on. Great fun.
Well, an episode of it, yeah.
That's the beauty. We can always do more, of these things. Irwin Allen TV series, Lost in Space. The Irwin Allen TV series, Lost in Space, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
I've shown you some of that, haven't I?
We were around your house. We had a beer and we're watching a bit of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Funny.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, starring Richard Basehart, David Hedison. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. They said it twice.
Doesn't it have that? This was a so-and-so production at the end as well, or Run?
No, that's not the Quinn. They're not Quinn Martin production.
Quinn Martin production. That's it. And the Time Tunnel. The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes. Good shout. And of course, the last one here, Danger UXB. There you go, with a bit of John Thor there doing his stuff. So yeah, keep up the great work, Trevor Knight.
Didn't we watch Danger UXB? Because didn't we talk about...
We did!
We talked about Deborah Watling constantly offering her sexual favours.
Yes, that was right, yeah. Yes, and she was, yes. In a bomb crater. Well, there we have it. Thank you so much, Trevor, for writing. I very much enjoyed that, actually. Very, very much.
I thought you'd like that email.
Yeah,
I selected it especially for you.
You curated it for me. Well, talking of curating...
I've still got another one.
Oh, you've got another one? Oh, well.
Yes, we do 3.
Be my guest.
This is called For Pooh the Bell Tolls.
Love
It's
it.
from our old friend Declan Kennedy. It was sent on the 11th of April in the year 1313. Right. Dear Nick and Benji, hello again. Long time no smell. I continue to enjoy your podcast, and I'm particularly pleased to see scatological matters once more given an airing, if you'll pardon. Pooden, in brackets, Pooden. The phrase. Further to the imagined smelly ending of Psycho, do you remember we were saying the bloods?
Yeah, we were. Ponged a bit.
How about a touching reimagined ending for Battleship Potemkin, in which a used nappy is rolling down the steps?
No.
As you have turned to police drama, it may well be timely that BBC 4 are repeating Between the Lines. Are they?
Really?
Didn't know that. That's good.
Let's have a look.
But when I was but a teen, considered as revelatory as Z-Cars. Worth a look? Oh, it certainly is worth a look, that. Obviously, any police drama is tainted by recent events, but all the same. Hammer House of Horror is a good shout, by the way. Duncan Kennedy. Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, good lord, yeah.
Sorry, when I say Duncan, it's Declan. Sorry, Declan. Whoever you are, Declan, you know, I hope you'll pardon me for that.
Yes, pardon you.
Now, on with the other glasses. Poor old Shelley Dean's been waiting for us. Better send her an invitation.
About Between the Lines being on the iPlayer. Very good.
It's definitely on there, is it?
Yeah, just watched a bit of it, yes.
Oh.
Yes, this is what I needed to know. Right, well, Shelley, we'll see you now.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going fantastically fabulous. I'm going to come
That's
up with
good.
a new adjective every single week to come
Fantastically
up with how
fabulous is
amazing
brilliant.
life is.
That's what we want. You know, fantastically fabulous. I like it.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I understand you've got some fantabulously fabulous information for us as well, haven't
do.
you?
Our new weekly segment, the Patron Papers. Da, 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 da. I need you guys to write me a theme tune for this, by the way. I was thinking about that. Or we could just
Benji's
use the
doing it now.
Tonight Show that I
I'll
just
get
did.
it. We can just get it from the library. I'll click one now, and whatever it is going to be your theme tune.
Okay, here we go.
I'm
Okay,
scared.
so here we go.
What is it?
Do the scroll of truth. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
the Patron
that was
Papers
amazing.
theme tune. Fantastic. Well, I want to start out by mentioning that we have a new patron, and his name is David K. And he has taken the plunge by joining our Loch Ness tier.
Wow.
Yeah. David is an American. Hey now. Who says America. Who says he grew up watching British television shows on his local PBS channel and therefore knows more about British TV history than US TV history.
How interesting.
So, welcome, David. We may be having to hit him up for some trivia.
Some good information. Yeah. Well, welcome. Thank you so much as well for pledging your support for us here at the Benji and Nick Show.
Oh, we appreciate it. And you too can become a patron just by heading over to patreon.com/the Benji and Nick Show.
Boom.
And is written out. It's not an ampersand.
There we
One
go.
of those
You've
fun
heard
little
it there.
quirky
Ampersand.
And we have 5 subscription tiers that you can sign up for, each one having its own special perks and rewards. And we start with a low price of just £1 per month. And that's going to be the Good Morning tier. And with that, you get access to our new weekly show, what we officially call TV Dinners, that Benji calls something different every week that we do it.
Fun Cook 2000, if you please.
I think it was Cook Station.
It was Cook
Welcome to Cook Station.
Every single week
Never
it's
ends.
something totally different. And then the next tier up, we've got the Good Afternoon tier, which is only £5 per month. And with that, you get early access to this very podcast 1 whole week ahead of the public. So it's like
That's
you're
right, you get to know.
traveling to the future for only £5 a month. I mean,
Not bad, is it? You know, I'd say it costs more to get to Clitheroe than it does to get to the future. So,
exactly.
there we go.
By 7 days, too. A whole 7 days.
So see, I'm going to find out how much it's going to cost for me to get to Clitheroe.
Now, yes, perfect.
You saw that out. Yeah.
Yes. Well, while you're looking that up, there's another tier. It's called the Good Day tier, and that will only cost you £10 per month, which is what? Equal to like 2 cups of like that fancy schmancy coffee you can buy at like Starbucks.
That, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And one of the perks you get with that is you get a monthly shout out from us right here on the podcast. And as you may have noticed, some of the patron shout outs are amazing facts that we've dug up, or things that they've told us about themselves, or just things that we've happened to notice along our travels. And we've got Nathan Martin prefers to listen to our podcast while he's just doing mundane chores around the house, you know, sweeping, dusting, patching up the holes in the roof from those pesky alien laser beams.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
So annoying. So annoying. But at least he has us to help him through that bore
You missed the
of
spot,
a chore.
mate. Up there, right there. There we
Right.
go. Yeah.
And
Well,
then
interesting enough, just before you continue on...
How much does it
it's-
cost?
Well, here's an interesting thing here. It cost me £91.40p to get to Clitheroe from here, or £195.50p first class. But interestingly enough, for some reason or another, if I go tomorrow, I can go first class for £93.40. Whereas if I go the day after, it's £195. So isn't that strange?
They're
so
filling
for some reason,
empty seats.
apparently so. Yeah, clearly nobody wants to go to Clitheroe tomorrow.
It's like getting bumped up to first class. Like my last trip to England, I was booked
You
like
get
a
the
normal
little-
human being, and the person called me up when I checked in, and she's like, "Oh, you're going to be in first class." I was like, "Well, no, I don't want to."
That's
What?
better-
You didn't say that.
Of course not. I sat in first class and sent you all pictures. Look at me, I'm in first class.
Well, it's better than what they did to me, where they said, "Right, sir, we're throwing you off the plane now.
You're bumped."
We don't want you on here." And they opened the airlock and threw me out. And they just threw
The
the
airlock.
suitcase with me.
You're in the space shuttle, were you?
Yeah. Well, you know the airlock doors. Have you not seen the end of Goldfinger? That single-handedly teaches you never to open a door or a window in an aeroplane.
I don't think you need to see Goldfinger to learn that.
I think
It's
It's
learn-
fairly obvious from the
just learn by-
thousands of feet.
Learn by doing it, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't do it.
Sorry, carry on, Shelley. Anyway,
So-
I ruined you with Clitheroe information.
It's very important information. We need to know this, need to know stuff. And then there's Carl Bate. As we're talking, if we've all forgotten, like I have, what we were just talking about, that how people listen to our show, Carl Bate prefers to enjoy our docile tones while he's commuting to work inside of his Dalek cosplay. Just
Oh, well, you know, the good thing about that, if you're inside a Dalek on the way to work, is, you know, you can hide as many biscuits in there as you like, and nobody's going to know.
true.
You see, you know, nobody's going to think that,
Oh, I didn't even
know.
think of that.
you know, those chocolate digestives, mate, you've had 4. You know, you can say, well, how do you know how many I've had? Well, it'd be more like, oh, how do you know how many I've had? Well, there must be a nightmare when you've got to get your ticket out or something, you know, at the station. Can you imagine that? Yeah, hold on a minute. God, my trousers, where is it? Hold on, all right, mate, can you just give me 5 minutes? Nightmare.
Or
but
even
yeah.
better if you're using a voice modulator and you're actually sounding like a Dalek while you're ruffling through your trousers looking for your ticket.
That's what Nick does, but
Where
only when he
is
ruffles
my
his trousers to
ticket?
find his train ticket. That's all he does. No other time. Yes, I only work on the
Can't
show.
even remember catching a train. It's been so
So
long.
long, isn't it? Yes.
I've seen video on film. I've seen trains going by going, oh, and people sitting next to each other and talking with their
Wow.
air mouths breathing all over each other, and you're going,
Their air mouths.
Their
breathe.
air
yes,
mouth.
their air mouth. Their air
I'm going to
holes.
use my air mouth.
He was speaking at me with his
I
air
think a
mouth.
squirrel has an air mouth. Yeah.
Hair mouth.
Yes. So yeah, and then just to finish it up about the Patreon, we've got 2 more tiers after that. We've got the Goodness, which is £25 per month, and the Loch Ness, which is £50 per month. And as always, this podcast is free.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to spend
So,
a penny. Not a
That's
penny.
right. Yeah, but those
Yeah,
are
don't
you just
spend a
get some
penny
Yeah,
during the
extra.
podcast.
too far.
If you
Imagine
want some-
somebody's done it.
Yeah, if you want some silly extra stuff that we're doing and we're creating for you guys, then go ahead. Subscribe to the Patreon. If not, cool beans. Stick with it. You're going to hear us no matter what. So
Well, thank you,
that's,
Shelley.
sounds
That
like
that's
a
the
threat.
Patreon
That was-
papers. What's my outgoing
that
music?
was-
Da-da-da-da-da.
It was a bit like sitting through QVC. Brilliant. I very much like that. Well, I suppose now
Fantastic.
the task at hand is to watch episode 6 of Inferno.
So that would be 6
Yeah,
of
have you got any facts
500.
about it? Yeah, have you got any facts about it for us?
Not that I wouldn't have already said the million other times we've done the commentary. I did. I looked up stuff and I was like, I already said that. I talked about that. So that's the
Well,
downfall
I'll
of
give you-
there
I'll
being
give you-
so many. Yeah, you give.
It's the final story of the first John Pertwee series, and it's Liz, the character of Liz Shaw, the Doctor's companion or assistant, as she technically was. It was her leaving story, but it wasn't her leaving story. She doesn't leave. They got rid of her between seasons in a rather underhand way, I
El
thought.
Prego, right? Wasn't she pregnant?
She was pregnant,
Yes.
and that was a contributory factor,
Yes.
I imagine.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing they'd get sued for these days.
Well, did they back in I mean, I know nowadays if a main character is pregnant, they'll just do the sleight of hand with the hiding behind a pillow or only shooting behind counters
or write it into the story.
or
yeah.
that. But I'm saying if it's a character that couldn't, be pregnant in the story for a reason, they hide it.
Like Roger, the tennis instructor or something.
Yeah, that would be really awkward. So
Would you, Roger, the tennis instructor?
Well, I've not really
All right
thought
then,
about
but I haven't got any other facts about it. Shall we? What we do with this commentary, for those of you who've never heard us do a commentary before, we say 3, 2, 1, and on the 1 we press play on whatever media we're playing it on. Where it's Inferno.
Shelley there,
which is
going in
series
monovision with her iPad.
I'm in character
ready.
now, I promised.
Oh, well
that
done. She's doing it.
I
I flipped you off the screen so I couldn't see. Oh, excellent.
I am wearing my eye patch and I am now ready to be the
There we go, I've got
brigadier,
mine ready.
but not
That's
the
good.
brigadier.
That's
Whatever he's
good.
now, it's hurting me, and it's for a child, and I have a big head, so I have to. And the elastic around it is so tight on my head. I just tried it this morning, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna hurt."
Nick's eye patch is sponsored by Rode microphones.
Good.
Meanwhile, mine is an Apple dust sheet, which is just blowing dust in my eyes.
Yeah. For a very meagre, poor laugh, that's what we'll suffer. Dust in our eyes.
Absolutely.
So we press the play
Episode
button
6. Episode 6.
on episode 6. We
I
press it. Oh,
lost
yeah,
it.
thank
Hold
you.
on, where did it
Who
go?
am I and what is going on? Okay.
Wait, hold on. I lost you guys. I'm trying to find it, and I'm losing everything at the same time. I'm good now.
Okay, here we go. And bear in mind that it won't work the first time for me. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1. Oh, it is working.
Yeah, I think this is a first.
It's loud.
Benji, are you working?
Yeah. Just turning it down because it was
Yeah.
blasted my ears, it did. There's John
Same
Pertwee's
here.
face.
There it is, yeah.
There's that weird
So-
blob that envelops him. This is the bit. Yeah, there we go. There's the title. Just in case you don't know what the program's called.
Doctor Who?
Doctor what? Who's this? And there's a massive volcano. I love it. Wouldn't want to be under that, would you? You'd need an umbrella. But even then it'd burn through it.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you would have to be like I don't even know. Does lava burn through lead? Would
Burns through
lead
everything.
be sufficient? A lead umbrella?
Lava doesn't burn through more lava, though, does it?
So a lava
Well,
umbrella.
I'm going to hide from the lava inside this lava.
That's the best way to do it, isn't it? Episode 6. They didn't give us long to read
There he
episode
is.
6, did they?
I love the way he was looking at the camera there, that Primort. This is a commentary, guys, if you want to say anything.
No, I was just sitting there. Oh no, mine's buffering, and now it's stopped. Oh no.
Did you stop
Oh
playing?
dear. Yeah, it's buffering. It's all right. You carry on going, and I'll catch up while
We'll
you
tell
tell
you
me
where
what
we
the
are.
time is. Yeah. Just
John
can't-
Pertwee looking very relaxed and sweaty
Oh,
there.
no!
I'm very
Oh, that was
relaxed
the
and
episode climax, the
yes,
smash,
the
wasn't
smashing
it?
through the glass.
Yeah.
Now, did we already know that the fire extinguisher was going to work? Have we
No,
done that yet?
No, I think he's just found that out,
Gotcha.
hasn't he?
How many minutes in are you?
1:45, 6.
Cool. I'm about. Oh, he's got a hanky. Is he holding up a hanky?
He's
No.
he-
Yeah, now he's holding up the hanky, yeah.
There we go. That should be about right.
The air conditioning's still working. He's like the worst nerd, the Doctor, isn't he? You know?
The world's exploding, and he just wants to make sure he's feeling moderately cool.
Those are
That bloke,
big buttons,
he
aren't
looks
they,
like
on
the type
her
of bloke
neck?
who'd definitely have like a bottle of whiskey in his drawer, wouldn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's that sort of
definitely.
They
look,
all
isn't it?
did back then. They're always pulling out booze.
I reckon she doesn't have a bottle of whiskey in her drawer, though.
No, she's
Petra.
got like a fancy little flask around her thigh or something.
Yeah, like a hip
Yeah.
flask.
Sort of
yeah.
looks like she's put her jacket on the wrong way round. The zips right up the back.
Yeah, and she's got like two raisins or two grapes
I know, I said
painted.
they're very big, aren't they?
Too much.
That's why she has her hair up,
John-
because if she had her hair down, they'd be wrapped around and tangled into those two little...
This
I guess
whole
they're like
conversation...
buttons.
You could tell it's a 7-part story. They're having a big conversation about what to do, whereas normally they would have just done it.
It's just big panning out, isn't it? Oh, look, they're
And
not
it just
happy,
sounds like
are they?
somebody's blowing raspberries.
It's not working, is it? Look, it's not actually working.
yeah.
It's just the
Look,
noise.
look.
It's
And they
They're
move
keeping
the
it out.
camera.
there's
yeah.
just no foam in it, is it?
Oh, he better not have to
Just-
shoot it.
That's the one that'll work, surely. Stallman. He's definitely one of our friends. He's a mun.
Now, if this is a
Oh,
one-take shot, then we still have the same non-functioning fire
what's
extinguisher.
He's
gonna happen?
loving using that, isn't he? Not quite.
Oh,
not
there
quite,
we go.
It's
Not
getting a
quite,
bit.
not quite convinced by the level of how they just sort of freeze up and fall over.
Especially when they're getting shot, like in their midsection. That's covered in coveralls.
Well, you can't shoot people in the face with it because it would suffocate them.
I'm just saying, for
Can you not?
realistic
That's-
purposes.
No.
Yeah, no,
Really?
you can't breathe
It would
it.
suffocate them, crikey.
Because it's
Antioxidant.
what is it? Carbon? Is it carbon dioxide or yeah?
I think
Not
it's
instantly,
dioxide.
though.
No, but you could cause someone a real respiratory problem, which is why they would have been told not to do that. Mind you, it's the 60s when they shot this. I'm surprised they didn't
They
say,
might not, yeah.
just use a real machine gun.
Oh, look at this. This is the real McCoy, isn't it? Look at that, flowing out some real old smoke at them.
And then this rather wet smoke machine rubbish. He's shaking it to make it work better.
Come on. Yeah, you got to. She's got to hold it up to stop it from collecting. The doctor there.
I'll cover you with
standing
this
around.
rubbish smoke.
Oh, blimey, it's hot out here, isn't it? Crikey.
See, what they really want is that thing to really blow out loads of smoke at extreme pressure. Well, I love the filter on the camera.
Yeah.
It looks very good, doesn't it?
It's very apocalyptic, end of the world.
low quality
kind of
as well,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
See, it's very hot and looks rather windy.
It's a hot breeze.
That's the color that
look,
they
it's even got a
use
thing to
when it's
hold.
like a nuclear holocaust. You know, that's that the sun is just puts out different colored rays.
Yeah, just to
Definitely.
make you aware of what's happening,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And those guys, they're really... Oh, the natives are getting restless.
I really want to rub a balloon on John Pertwee's hair. It just looks wonderfully fluffy. And just there, look. It does. It looks like really fluffy. He's dead. You can see where his outfit there is what will move on with that doctor. You know, he now looks like the doctor we know rather than the earlier stories where he's wearing a cape. Trim phone. My great uncle used to make trim phones.
Did it?
Yeah, worked at the factory doing it. I think he was in charge of design or something. Not in charge, but, you know, something.
Those
nice
were
coat.
so high
He
tech.
made the tea, is what you're saying.
I don't know what
Look
it
at
did.
that fantastic finger in the eye salute there
Yeah.
from John Levine.
Too busy to watch.
I've told you many times before that Tom Baker tells a story that John Levine poked himself in the eye while saluting during Terror of the Zygons and had to go to hospital.
And then the next episode, he's wearing an eye patch.
Hey! He's calling him Professor Stallman in this.
Storman, as opposed to John Pertwee calling him Tharman. Nice cook.
Oh, what a fantastic salute.
It like wobbled.
That's how it's meant to go. It's meant to da-da-da-da-da-da. Look there, she's thinking of composing the Doctor Who theme on all this stuff here.
All this
What is that
old
thing called?
radiophonics.
Thera something? What the original Doctor Who theme was?
Theremin. No, it
Theremin.
wasn't.
That's it.
No,
No,
it was
it wasn't.
never. There was no.
You guys were
theremin
looking at me
involved.
like I was crazy, and I'm like, I know it's called something like that.
But that is not what they did the Doctor Who theme on.
We were talking about this garage door earlier, weren't we, Nick?
Oh, yes.
Well, no, yeah, that's the garage door in question.
That's the kind of interesting conversations Benji and I have. We
No,
talk
it's-
about garage doors.
Do you remember that garage door? Do you remember that unconvincing chroma key? That's going on right now.
That's
Look
a
at that.
shocker, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's just a vague photograph of anyone's forecourt they've stuck there.
Green screen.
That's opposite the Four Seasons where
Yeah,
Trump's
Trump- yeah.
team had the had the press conference.
That's the
Yeah, we
inside of the
booked it from
building.
Inferno.
That would be a funny little video to make.
Yes. If only they'd had a sonic screwdriver to get the door open.
Instead of
funny, now that you realise this is a set, when you look at the brick wall like next to her, you can see it's quite clearly been painted, and it's really
Breeze
frustrating
blocks
me
it's
now.
meant to be, yeah.
Yeah.
This conversation, I love this conversation, but it is entirely irrelevant to anything.
This
is
is
kind
a
of
Paddy episode, isn't it?
this
It's
is
just
like-
padded out.
Well, seem to be in episode 6, so we might sort of just have a little chat about stuff. Do you know, it's a funny thing. What is? No. Yeah, I mean, the doctor, he's... I mean, this is priceless.
It's
is
going on.
Bessie the banger?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's what we used to call old cars, but
Ah,
now
okay.
Benji uses the word banger to mean something's good, which is crazy to me.
Banging.
Do you,
Oh,
so
that
you,
means
could say,
some-
you said it's a real
You could
banger.
say that's a banger. Yeah, you can say
Banging
You see,
means
when you say
something
that's a
totally
banger-
different here in America.
Yeah, no, we know that as well. But when you say something's a banger, to me, to an old person like me, it just means it's
an old car.
old-fashioned and clapped out.
that. Yeah, that song's really old-fashioned and clapped
Isn't
out.
Carrie beautiful?
Do you know what? I was thinking exactly that watching that, and I thought, should I say it? I thought, would it sound weird for me to say it? And she is. She looks absolutely
It's all right for
beautiful
an
there.
old man like me to say it.
No, but I completely agree.
Isn't
with you.
Nicholas Courtney beautiful?
Isn't Starling beautiful?
Starling. Stallman.
Lenin.
Lenin's beautiful, isn't he?
Isn't Lemon beautiful?
I love the moment where I didn't realise it was a fake beard, because you think, well, you didn't keep shaving it off for the other scenes, did you?
He's
And then
got
you realise
super
it's ghastly as well.
testosterone.
Oh, that's a really rubbish moustache that the beautiful Nicholas Courtney is wearing.
I can
He
add
was a
Look at this.
beautiful man.
Those gloves.
John Levine, not
there.
beautiful though.
I have a goatee now.
John
Do you-
Levine would
I'm
dispute
not looking
that.
at
You're
you.
not
What are
looking
you
at me.
doing? Oh, yeah.
Very
Well,
nice.
That looks weird.
It looks like
Yeah, it
yours
looks scary.
before you're full grey. Yeah.
And no account, Brigadier.
I mean, always delay penetration 0. Saying
Well,
nothing else.
my granny would say he has murderer's earlobes. There we go.
Does he? Why?
Murderous
Apparently,
earlobes?
it's something to do with like people have
got
earlobes
quite-
connected to their face, or some people have like hanging earlobes.
Oh.
It's really hard to explain without drawing a
Mine are
diagram.
connected to my face. I've got
Yeah,
murderous
you
earlobes.
got murderous
Mine are
earlobes.
hanging.
Yeah. You haven't
His were quite red, I thought. I think someone's been tweaking them.
to make him look more murderous.
This crazy heavy metal band in the corner here.
Yes. Well, I think I'm going to blow some smoke. There's that computer that was used earlier.
They'd be, oh, he's put it down. We can get after him.
I mean, essentially, it's quite rubbish, this, really, but the story, the actual concept of the story is superb.
And I think the acting is great.
Well, they're giving it all they can. You know, let's be honest here. They've got to really push it, haven't they?
I love this. I think the acting is great. And then Pedro goes, there they are.
They're over
She is the-
there.
She is the worst actor in this. They like the walking towards the camera thing here, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a creative choice. Oh,
That's a bit heavy for Nick, that was.
that's big. I was going to say. That's it. That bloke's just sweating more and more by the day. He's going to melt in a minute.
I noticed that as the brigade leader, Nick has got a face in repose, which is like a resting bitch face, isn't it? Kind of, he's got that's like he's got a smell under him or something, you know. It's under his nose. It's kind of, I hate everyone.
Everybody smells.
Pertwee's sweating now.
That bloke there, doesn't he? Looks like he's just been in a sauna. Powder keg.
Yeah, he is getting moist. Oh, she's got some sweat on her head now, too.
Those rubbish doors wobbling because they're not real doors.
I love the cowardliness of the brigade leader. That becomes very obvious later.
I love this music.
Yeah. I've done some stuff a bit like this in my latest Third Doctor score, haven't I? Some
You
weird.
certainly
That-
have.
that
yeah.
grunting
I did,
and
did give you
gurgling?
that brief, didn't I?
No,
Give
the
it-
music.
Oh.
Yes, he's done a bit of that. He's grown a beard and ran around.
Yeah, that's my music. I know. I'll send you an invoice.
Love, you don't have much of a choice.
Yes. I'm now going to explain the situation because, frankly, we've got plenty of time in this episode.
Sit down. Oh, we're in her hands.
Good old Terence Dix and the way he knows how to create a tense situation out of absolutely nothing.
And this is as well a great opportunity to do that, isn't it? And it's executed superbly. It's really great seeing, this is what I love about actors, really. Seeing people that you know very well, playing parts that you know very well, but then doing it completely differently like this and having that ability to do it.
Oh, nice out here. Oh, that's better.
He really wanted to pull up on that hood there at the back of the car, didn't he? There's the old battered console looking really tired, as I said last time.
Banger.
That's an old banger.
Sort of.
Bit more impressive than that.
Now, the ending of this episode, I remember seeing it as a child and being very, very upset by it, because this is when I realised that I had a real fear of molten lava and molten metal. I might have mentioned before that during the filming of an industrial video I was involved on, I had to go into a smelting factory.
Oh.
And I found I was really in a terrible state.
So you might have died that way in a past life.
Oh, is that what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's oh, he knows all about it. Yeah, you can't put a nuclear reactor through a 1-pin plug, can you?
No, you could try.
But yeah, I had sort of like a real morbid fear of it. I could feel the heat of it, and they said, you're perfectly safe over here, but I could see all the molten metal splashing and everything, and it's just...
Oh, and just much. The idea of knowing that touching it would be very bad.
Fatal. Yeah. Yeah, very
Makes
bad.
you want to touch
very
it,
bad.
doesn't it?
It does.
Not me.
Not me. Not today.
I was particularly pleased with Carrie's earthquake acting there.
They're all, they are doing a jolly good
Someone's
job.
obviously waving off camera, and they're just peripherally catching that and then doing it just as the camera wobbles.
Let's look in her eyes, see if we... I always find that really bizarre in things, and it's a cliche comment, but when you look in people's eyes, you can see all the lighting around them, which makes me chuckle.
Ah, yes.
Him.
Oh, good old Liz Shaw. Sorry, I know Nick Courtney's speaking at the moment, but...
Yes. There's John
and he is
Pertwee
beautiful, as we know.
A great screwdriver job there.
You can tell that Nick Courtney's actually got a scar under his nose, hasn't he?
Probably why he doesn't... Well, he doesn't like having a moustache, does he? So I guess he,
Well, he eventually did, in later life, he did just grow a moustache.
Just be done with it.
But it was always a fake one in Doctor Who. I think in Battlefield it might be a real moustache.
And he certainly had one in latter years, didn't he, as well? Like, when you'd see him at events and stuff.
He grew a beard.
Yeah, got a beard.
And her hair is still perfect.
Not too bad, yeah.
It's just the curl, the swoopiness of it is awesome.
This is very dark emotionally, isn't it? These people have no hope of survival and they're still struggling.
Yeah.
That what they're trying to do is to get the Doctor to go back to save things in an alternative universe because they know that they're doomed.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Heavy concept, isn't it, really?
Isn't it? And the Brigadier's not very happy about that because he's thinking, crikey,
why can't we save
doesn't
our
save us.
world instead of the other world?
Or the brigade leader, I should say. Yeah, exactly, Shelley.
That's one, as you say, Nick, that's a shot there, a John Pertwee comic book shot, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, Jerry Haylock certainly copied that for TV action. He often the cravat was always shown in that sort of black knotted shape.
Oh, no!
Oh! He said, I'm not having that. Health and safety.
He's got a Luger. I have a Luger.
Yeah, well, of course.
German
Nazis.
sort of, nasties.
Nasties, did you say?
The nasties, yeah.
So did he get shot?
And
he fall down?
Yeah, he shot him, yeah.
Why didn't they... The Primord.
Yeah, because like
That was another one.
No,
but like all monsters as well, if you shoot them,
him,
they just get up because they're normally immune to bullets.
But there's no entry wounds.
This is Doctor Who.
I'm
You very
just
rarely
saying,
saw.
it's...
You couldn't have entry wounds on the BBC as well.
Or at least a semblance of green blood, or...
No,
Because
they've
as far as
really-
I'm concerned, he didn't get hit.
Yeah, but in the 70s, you wouldn't have been that
I thought that was a different Primord. I didn't think it
sophisticated.
was the same one. I thought it was another one.
No, he was shooting him, and he was like, and he fell down.
Oh, I see then. Oh, right,
Then.
okay, sorry.
Not the next scene.
Sorry,
By the time I said
we're
it, we were at the next scene, but...
Right, yeah, that's what confused me. More terrible CSA.
Oh, quite.
Oh, well, we're all...
Did John Pertwee say
Yes.
you're not squirting me in the face to make me look like I'm sweating? Because he's dry.
He's a bit sweaty.
Dry as a bone, and everyone else is dripping.
Yeah, he comes from a different planet and he's encountered bad things before, you know?
So he doesn't...
He's a bit sweaty.
Oh, now he is.
Nowhere
He
near
wasn't
as-
before. When I said it, he wasn't.
This is Nick, as you say, he's wonderfully now the coward is coming out, isn't he?
Yeah. He was... It's all shot in one go, this. They wouldn't
Yeah.
have altered it. Let's have a fight, because it's about that time in the episode.
Why is he holding the gun at the man's... Oh, there, blimey.
Oh, well.
You fool.
Phew. He would have done it.
Oh, my goodness.
That's always the scary thing, isn't
It
it?
is.
There's that wonderful emotional impact of the gun not loaded, but you know that they would have done it.
Well, they did it.
Yeah.
By pulling the trigger,
I
they've
look
done
at
it.
Nick's face when he gets hit there. He's kind of, oh my God, I didn't expect fighting to be this difficult.
Yeah, he's there like, oh,
I
blimey,
normally
you didn't...
Oh, I don't
normally
like
get
being
stormtroopers to
thrown.
do it for me.
Fighting like animals. Pertwee looks really haggard there.
You're quite
He looks
ahead of us.
Oh, sorry. I'll come with you.
No, sorry.
The sound design in this is great, isn't it? All those noises and bits and bobs going on,
Yeah.
you know, really well done.
A little bit of that lovely music there.
To remind you that the world is
Dying.
collapsing, exploding, whatever it's doing.
Oh, I'm being phoned by an O2
Yeah.
number.
Oh, there's a man coming through the door. They're all going to die anyway.
Whew. Everybody's really rubbing themselves the wrong way, aren't they? Rubbing each other up the wrong way.
Well, otherwise they'd just be looking at each other, so they've given them stuff to say.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh dear.
Take that. Have it. Do you reckon one of them looks up at one point like, I don't know why you're doing that. I'm not a fire.
You can't put me out.
I can't. No, I'm flesh and blood.
I'm fur and flesh and blood.
Yes, come on.
The
Oh, he
state-
accidentally set it off as he went out. Did you hear that? He's like, oh,
state of that time rotor.
you can hear it going.
Is somebody underneath it lifting it and pulling it down, lifting it and pulling it down?
It's on
Yeah.
a motor. It is on a motor.
Oh, it is on a motor?
They sometimes had someone doing it, but yeah, a lot of the time it was a motor.
Because you could easily fit someone under
Oof.
there.
Yeah. I'd give anything to save you bunch of fascists to take.
When did he have time to reload?
Well, between scenes, he had another mag on him.
Oof. Here's the moment.
Oh,
It must have been fantastic for John Pertwee to be able to do some serious acting and, you know, kind of prove his ability to do that.
yes, he'd never really done anything like that before in the public eye.
You know, and to see him there, you know, you realise he's incredibly good at it. Oh, look, everybody's running around.
This is horrible, isn't it?
Pretty
This is
grim,
the end of
isn't
the world. I remember being very upset by this. Because, of course, I couldn't tell it was stock footage.
it? Oh, somebody's let the poo out.
Yeah, that's what really upset me, that stuff rolling towards them.
Well, as well, like you can see like a piece of like sort of power line in there,
Yeah.
can't you, or whatever it is, and that's scary.
There we go.
There we go. Thoroughly enjoyable half an hour. That love it, love it. I want to watch the next episode, but we can't, because unfortunately, that is all we have time for. So thank you, everybody, for... I feel like I'm talking over the Doctor Who theme here. It's rather brilliant. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. We'll be seeing you next time. We'll talk about, actually, talking of next time.
Yes.
I've got a little thing to challenge. Well, we mentioned it the other day. It's not really a challenge. I know that we've already done the 1980s version of Day of the Triffids. But I realised that Shelley hasn't seen it, and I know Shelley loves kind of the retro-y bits and bobs. You know, you all the horror. Sorry,
Yes, the horror.
I know that you love old horror,
Horror.
and retro horror and bits like that. Horror.
Horror.
So,
Horror.
and this,
American
whilst not,
squirrel horror.
and whilst it's not traditional horror, it's very good. So I think let's revisit it. Me and Nick, it'd be a pleasure. We enjoy it.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. I bought it off iTunes back in the day, so it's on my computer.
Yeah, I bought it on iTunes back in the day, but I've also got it on DVD, and now I believe it's actually out on Blu-ray. Although I don't know what, as awful as this sounds, it was shot on tape, so there's not a lot that you can really do to upscale it that much. I guess you could make a documentary, but the most important thing that I would have bought a Blu-ray for is, of course, isolated music, but I don't think it's on there, so what a shame.
Rubbish.
Yeah, so quite.
So we're going to do Day of the Triffids.
Day of the Triffids.
Day of the Triffids.
The
yeah,
TV
Triffids.
series.
So there we
not
go.
the movie.
TV
series.
series.
Apparently
Six
there's a
parts.
movie, because I said...
Which
Yeah,
is
the movie's
terrible.
rubbish.
Right,
so you don't bother.
so we're doing the
I
TV series.
I bought the movie. Well, we'll talk about this next. I bought it from the video shop,
Oh.
which is like an old second-hand place. Old and Gold, it was called. And it
And
wasn't
this
gold.
wasn't.
It was rubbish. Yeah, it was absolutely rubbish. The only good thing is the music. But more on that next time.
Okay.
You can watch the movie if you want, Shelley. It's on. You know, you can give that a try if you just want.
He'll give you a permission.
Thank
I'll
got a
give
pass.
you know, I'll give you a permission if you want to compare the two, but you'll know which one's.
It's
the,
nothing to do with Day of the Triffids, the movie, is it really?
It's just dreadful.
Well, I will
old-
not-
load of old nonsense.
sully my opinion on the TV series until I get through all of it. So
It's a
'cause
great book as
there's
well.
6 episodes.
It is.
Right?
Yes, correct.
So,
The first episode, in my opinion, is like, it's one of those ones. Anybody that doesn't know that it's really good might be put off by it because it's mostly just people talking like retrospectively about things and about this.
And you'll
this is
recognise the
premise
production
of-
values like Doctor Who, very like Doctor Who.
okay. Well, I am looking
Yeah, but
forward
it's
to
good.
watching it and giving you my thoughts and feelings about it.
Lovely. Well,
So-
be seeing you.
Let's
Take
get
care
close to the
and
microphone.
Goodbye. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's goodbye from Benji B.
It's goodbye from Nick B.
And from me, Shelley. Ta!
Pressing stop now. Ka-chunk.